Hello, I'm Christopher McClure, IT Director for the Town of Hopkinton and host of Manager's Corner. Local government is here for you. Manager's Corner allows you to meet the diverse group of people who make your local Hopkinton government run. This show advances our goal of increasing transparency, communication, citizen engagement, and service. Each month, you will have the opportunity to see and hear the people who make up the various town departments, boards, and committees. You'll learn about them, the role and function of their departments, and available services. Manager's Corner will share the successes, challenges, and plans of your local government to help keep you informed and involved in the decisions affecting you. Remember to visit us online at hopkintonma.gov, where relevant videos will be available on the different department pages. And we want to hear from you. Remember to email me feedback, questions, and requests to cmcclure@hopkintonma.gov. You may see your topic on a future Manager's Corner or on our Frequently Asked Questions page. Remember to email us topics and follow us on Twitter at HopkintonMA. We're also on Facebook and Google Plus now. And if you go to hopkintonma.gov and click on our Follow Us link, you'll be able to find all the different ways you can stay informed. So this week we have Debbie Hilton-Creek. Welcome.
Thank you, Chris. It's great to be here.
Debbie is the new Human Resources Director for the town, and you've been here
about 5 weeks.
About 5 weeks, so you're barely getting your feet wet.
Oh, I've jumped in, I think.
So we'll have to bring you back next year.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'd love to come
and
back.
see how you're doing. One of the main focuses of this show is to put a face on the different departments, what they do, and with a real focus on service and the role the departments play in serving the town,
right,
and serving the residents of Hopkinton. I know human resources, kind of like IT, is challenging in that you're not as publicly visible,
right,
as, say, the town clerk or the
more
town
behind
manager.
The scenes,
more behind the
kind
scenes.
Of, right.
And I want to use this as an opportunity to kind of give people a sense of the role your department plays, and why it's important for the town, and sort of the different functions you play. Maybe just talk generally about what the Human Resource Department.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say that I'm really happy to be a part of the team at Hopkinton Town Hall. I think there's an amazing group of people there, very dedicated to the work that they do, and I think it's sometimes unusual to find that in such a close-knit community. So I'm really happy to be here and to be a part of the team. The human resources function is very different than in the private sector, and I came from the private sector with some experience in government with my tour with the U.S. Army, for a few years. However, this is somewhat of a challenging position for me, in that there are so many things that I need to learn, not necessarily about the human resources function, but how human resources really integrate within a government setting. And like I said, we work with a great group of people, and everybody's a teacher, so it's been very easy for me to assimilate in the position. HR in the town hall is, as you say, or as you said earlier, not as visible as some other departments. We do, however, have an indirect impact on the town as a whole, and also in the community, in that there are several functions that the Human Resources Department is responsible for. So, for instance, recruiting is one of the functions that is very, very critical to the success of the town, because, as you know, hiring qualified people who are committed to the organization, committed to the mission, committed to the town, is very, very critical. So with that responsibility of bringing in top-notch people, highly qualified people, that in itself sometimes can be a challenge. However, we do have certain processes in place to support the recruitment of the type type of people that we want to work for the town. It is a very competitive process, very transparent. We go out and we look for the best people possible. And the reason we want to do that is because we need people who are going to reflect the values of the town, reflect the commitment of the organization, and also the commitment to each other as individuals who are working together as a team. The process also looks at, and being competitive, it also looks at the different skills that we can bring to the town, the diversity that is important, for any organization to be successful. We also look at. We also look at longevity, and if you take a look around at town employees, I'm sure you'll see that I'm probably the only one that's been there like 5 weeks. Most people have been there 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So we do look for individuals who would like to commit long-term to the town, and we go after those people. As I said, it is a very competitive process in that in order to get great people or highly skilled people, we have to be competitive sometimes with the private sector, and that in itself is a challenge for the recruiting process. So we do the very best that we can to make sure that we provide great benefits, benefits that are going to help employees have a very valued work-life experience. And so benefits such as the health insurance, that will provide employees and their families with access to absolutely wonderful health care is really a big thing for us. We also have other benefits where we provide sick time and vacation time so that people are not stressed out and they have an adverse situation they want to take care of. They're able to do that because we want them to come back and stay with us for a long time. Some of the other functions of human resources really is to serve as an advocate for the employees as well as for indirectly representative of the town. So the people we do hire all have to represent the town. That is just a natural responsibility for every employee we hire. Some other functions might be actually negotiating, the right benefits for the population, the employee population that we have, but not only just negotiating the benefits, but also make sure that it is cost effective and realistic. We're providing benefits that are needed, for the employee, but also that are affordable by the town. We also serve as mediators in, and I say we because we're a team at Town Hall, and even though the Human Resources function has only myself as the primary representative for Human Resources, I do have to collaborate with all department heads, collaborate with the town manager, at times maybe, board committees, and we have a personnel committee that is very helpful, that is representative of the town also, that we have to maintain collaboration with. So it's really not a loner kind of thing. We're all in this together. I do work closely with the finance department and specifically with the payroll coordinator. To make sure that the functions within human resources and the functions that are tied to other departments are appropriately carried out. We also, with the human resources function, promote wellness among our employees. We're embarking on possibly a wellness program coming up hopefully next year. That's sort of in the planning stage right now. We also have committees that assist with employee activities. We don't have any what would you call that? A dedicated committee right now to employee activities. However, from time to time, we do pull people together to participate in certain activities. There is a compliance function to the Human Resources Department that a lot of people are not aware of. Compliance from an ethical standpoint, compliance from a federal and state mandate perspective. There are rules and guidelines we have to follow, much like any other department at Town Hall. For example, you have a security issue in IT where we have to maintain the confidentiality of the work that we do at Town Hall. The same rule applies to human resources, where we have to follow state and federal mandates around employment and labor laws. A lot of people are not aware of that. Another function of human resources is really, working with employees who we want to develop those employees who, may want to look at doing something different and providing growth opportunities for them to grow with the town, to grow in the jobs that they're in, to exceed in the jobs that they're in. And so part of our responsibility would be to provide those tools, the education, and other opportunities for employees to be able to do that. Just a little bit more on the ethical part of the ethical arm of HR, and that is just one of the ethical arms of the town, is that because human resources deal with people, issues such as integrity and honesty are issues that HR deal with on a regular basis. So we pretty much have to make sure that that we're maintaining those ethical standards by providing guidelines for employee conduct, and I work very closely with the town manager to ensure that we are promulgating, the different types of requirements around ethics and compliance with laws and things like that.
Well, that's a lot.
Sorry.
That's great. No, I want to try to parse some questions, but I think that covered a lot of. I can say one of the things that's impressed me in Hopkinton and with Norman and the HR here is that it's the first time I've seen a regular review process that actually happens, and that continued oversight, because as you know, it's one thing to get good people in the door. Right. It takes work to maintain that consistency over time and do a review process. Right. And I know I appreciate as an employee the ability to check in and see how you're doing. Right. But it's a lot. Working with computers, I don't envy your role at all, because as frustrating as they can be, people are infinitely more complex and present issues, and there's just the structural issue of when you have a professional organization with a lot of diverse people working together, it has to be professionally managed just to provide a working environment. Right, that's right. That works for everybody. And listening to you, it sounds like Hopkinton is doing a great job creating a professional organization and balancing some diverse needs in terms of the foremost is obviously protecting the taxpayer, making sure that the money spent is protected and efficient. We're reducing liability and making sure we're getting good people and creative people. Absolutely. But then also working hard to create a proactive, healthy environment where there's understood, standards and training, and people know what to expect. Right. And in the long run, in that form-based planning, which we talk about a lot, it prevents a lot of problems from happening in the first place. Yes, and it sounds like our focus is on health and building versus responding to crisis. Right, that's right. And it's really important for people to know what is expected of them. And I think, one of my philosophies is that, people really want to do the right thing, and people really want to work hard. And from what I've seen of employees at Town Hall or all across the town, not just the Town Hall building, but the town in general, all the facilities, is that people do work very hard. They do take pride in the work that they do.
And for those employees who may have a struggle, that's what HR is there for, and that's what our management team is there for, is to help those people through those struggles, so that they can become better employees. So I really believe that overall everybody wants to do a great job, and for the most part everybody does.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm impressed by Hopkinton's commitment to create an environment
Right.
that allows people to succeed and bring the best out, and to see that growing. But let's take a break for a minute and talk about you.
Me.
Part of the emphasis of this show is to get behind the scenes a little bit and introduce the people who are actually making government run, and that they're real people.
Right. Typically for me is not an easy subject, but I'll give it a shot. I've been in human resources, I would say over 20 years. I actually got exposed to the profession when I was in the U.S. Army, and loved it so much that when I finished my tour, I decided that I would like to go into the human resources profession. So I basically went back to school, got my master's degree, and then started looking for the right opportunity to apply my skills and my knowledge, and not only that, but to learn as much as I could about the organizations, which I was lucky enough to be offered a position. My background is in several industries. I've worked in the healthcare field. I actually went right into the healthcare field in human resources when I got out of the military. I took an assignment as an executive director for a healthcare organization in Colorado, and went on to, when I relocated to Massachusetts, went on to work in the hotel industry and did that for a couple years. Very exciting, unusual though, experience, and subsequent to that, actually went into social services, which was a combination of social services and healthcare, and did that for almost 9 years, and went back to healthcare, and took some time off. My last job, I was commuting about 3 hours a day, which was really taking a toll. And I just didn't feel I had enough time with my family, and so we made a decision that I would leave that job, take some time off, help my son with some things that he wanted to accomplish, and then after that decided to go back into the workplace. This time I was very methodical about my goals as far as going back into the workforce. I typically was looking for an assignment within a government institution, and was specifically looking at the various towns. I did apply for, I believe it was two other towns in Massachusetts along with Hopkinton, and decided to accept the position with Hopkinton because I felt like the people in Hopkinton were so much more open to welcoming someone with my level of experience and my background and my willingness to learn the government side of human resources. So I accepted the position here, and here I am.
Well, coming from a variety of different fields, how do you find that having some of that experience outside of government helps you here, maybe giving you a unique perspective? And what are some of the challenges that are different, say, working in government than working in the private sector?
I think that the various positions that I've held in, or I should say the positions that I've held in various industries, really have prepared me to move to another industry, something that is new. I think that because I'm of the mindset that there's always something to be learned, that I am really not afraid of, jumping into something that I don't know. And really, coming to the town was not 100% unknown, because there are a lot of the human resources function that is transferable or transitional into any other industry. So that was very comforting. The pieces that were a challenge for me, and I think because I have so many great people around me to support me, that I really don't see that as a challenge, is just the nature of the operations of a town. And I think that, again, because of the people that I work with, it's very easy for me to learn, to adjust. And so I feel after 5 weeks like I've been here for 5 years. So I think the support system is incredible and very meaningful and very valuable to me, and that's something I do appreciate.
Right. Well, what are some of the challenges? You know, we talked about the transparency of the hiring process, and I think that's an important message. I know we've very service-oriented and getting information out on our website. We have a Hop Jobs hashtag on Twitter. If you follow the town on Twitter, the jobs are posted online and emailed and sent to various newspapers and other organizations in terms of trying to attract, you know, qualified people and reach the widest. But what are some of the challenges in attracting the type of candidates you want to work in government? What are some of the qualities, you know, you look for in some of the, as compared to private industry?
Right. I think maybe the biggest challenge here would be the competitiveness around, you know, what do we offer people? What can we offer someone who is top-notch, someone with all the skills in the private sector that, you know, we want to come work for the town? And that would be, how do we get them to come here? Is it through compensation? Is it the benefits? Is it the people? Those are all, you know, challenges that we face in recruiting individuals to the town. Challenges that can be overcome, because I think, for example, when I interviewed with the town, the biggest impression that I got when I interviewed, and I had, I think, 3 or 4 interviews, was the people I met. It was an incredible feeling when I left the interview thinking, I want to be a part of that team. And to me, that was the biggest seller. And so that's something that we can expand on. That's something that we can promote. Because again, as I said before, for the most part, people are a team. They work well together, and we have an incredible group of people. Sometimes for a lot of people, you know, compensation might be secondary, and from my experience, it's always been that way. You know, a lot of people think it's you know, it's the pay that's going to bring someone into a position, but from my experience, most of the time it's not. It's usually secondary. It's usually the environment, you know, the benefits that we have to offer. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be competitive, because we have to remain competitive to get the quality and caliber of candidates that we would like to hire or bring to the town. So that's something that, you know, that the commitment is there to, you know, look at that on a as needed basis, or, you know, on a regular basis. So that's one challenge, and the other challenge might be recruiting is a very time-consuming function that really deserves a lot of attention. And so without the appropriate resources, it's very difficult to do the recruiting. However, with some of the tools that you have put in place, Chris, you know, posting a position and having it go to all the social networks at the same time, you know, as well as sites like Career Builder and Monster, really makes it a lot easier for us to reach a broader range of candidates. So to me, that piece of the challenge is really supported by some of the IT structures that are in place. So you know, I do appreciate that, because you really need, you know, good recruitment tools in order to bring the right people in.
And I know you and I have talked about creative ways of creating some incentives other than financial, because The
That's
fact is
right.
government is dealing with limited budgets.
That's right. That's
we
correct.
are as competitive as we can be,
Right.
but we still have to be creative and using some of these tools to empower people,
Right.
to give people some more flexibility in terms of generating ideas,
Right.
having autonomy in their job, and having
Right.
ownership
Right.
using these tools. And again, I think it's great that the conversation is, how can we take a good thing and make it better,
Right.
which in some ways is a harder conversation
Yeah.
than to take something that's
Right.
failing and make
Mediocre,
it
right.
passable.
Yeah.
It's always harder to take something that's pretty good and have the conversation, to not to rest on your laurels and to say, okay,
Right.
how do we make this better? How do we
Right.
use what the systems we have to get more out of our people and
Right.
to be creative, incentivizing? But,
Right. That's right.
well, as always, we're almost out of time. These things go by pretty quickly. But you can always find us online at hopkintonma.gov. You can email me, you can email Debbie, you can call us, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Google+, sign up for our email lists, and write to us. We want to hear from you. Like I said, your topic may end up being on a show. If you have a guest you want to see, if you have a topic you want to hear about, some aspect of government, a board or committee, let us know about it. We want to know how we're doing, the good and the bad. So until next time, I'm Chris McClure, and this is Manager's Corner. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to HCAM Insights. Did you know that Hopkinton's television station is always looking for your feedback and suggestions? We work very, very hard to cover our community and keep you completely informed and updated on events, activities, and all the news from Hopkinton. How are we doing? What are you looking for that we haven't got covered yet? Drop me an email or give me a call. I really want to know. Oh, and thanks for watching.
You're on public property. By law, minors aren't allowed to smoke in public. You're going to notify your parents. This is education material to inform you of the harms of cigarette smoking.
Hello, welcome to HCAM Insights. Did you know we have a special section on our website where we run a slideshow of photographs of recent events in town? We call it The Shoot. Kind of a newsy feel there, and it's located on the front of our website, on the home page, on the top part. The part our news director would say is above the fold. Isn't that cute? It's like our website is a newspaper. I wonder if that would make me Lou Grant.